Hello and welcome out to Death Battle Cast, a show where we talk about fidget spinners.
Is it?
Torian mumbled as
Torian
that intro
mumbled
was going.
as the intro's
I
going.
want a
so.
fidget spinner.
Because I want to see what the hubbub is about.
What the hubbub is about of these fidget spinners?
You can get them anywhere. You could walk outside and probably run into somebody.
I know.
with
I went to the
probably.
mall and it was a whole kiosk of just fidget spinners. Some of them lit up.
When was the last time something like that was just a fad like that? Because I feel like maybe I haven't been.
I think it's just a meme. That's all it really
No,
is at
isn't
this
like
point.
this.
Nah, people
Isn't
like
we're
them.
in like a generation to where everyone needs like a little thing to play with at work, like the square thing.
Yeah, it's when you can't be looking at your phone.
The
You
fidget
got to be
cube.
messing
Yeah.
with something.
Is this a commentary on social life these days?
Pretty much.
We can't focus on one thing. We always have to have something else going on.
These darn
Yeah, I
millennials.
hope.
YouTube playing in the background, fidget spinner in one hand, phone in the other, on the computer with your some voice commands.
Yeah, of course.
That's what today is.
I hope when they look back and they're spoofing this time period, like it's just a bunch of people just spinning those. That's what it's gonna be.
Anyway, welcome back to the Death Battle Cast. I'm Ben. I play Wiz on Death Battle.
I'm Nick, and I wrote Sub-Zero vs. Glacius.
I'm Tori, and I'm a 3D animator.
I'm Chad. I play Boomstick. Holy hell, we got through it all.
We did
Nobody
it.
did a little thing. You
We
guys,
did.
you did it.
Yay.
Thank
We
you
made
guys,
it.
and also
Yay.
thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make sure make your next move with Squarespace. This text is so tiny I couldn't read it.
It's okay. We'll
your
tell you more.
fault.
We'll
That's
tell
your
you more
fault.
about Squarespace.
Control Plus is
later
your
on in the show.
friend.
Oh, thank you. Now I can read it. This episode was brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain,
He just says
website,
it louder?
or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. The bigger text makes me feel like I gotta say it louder.
As the font increases, so does the volume.
Exactly.
You
All
sounded
right.
so upset. Like, you sounded so distraught. Like, it's so
I
small.
can't read it. Well, I
can't
messed
read
up the read because it was so small, and I feel bad because Squarespace has been a sponsor for Death Battle for a long time.
Yep.
Like, they're one of the, I think, original sponsors where
Yeah.
when we were first trying to make the show off the ground, they were one of the guys that were like, we believe in these guys. We'll give them money to try to make the show bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Yep.
thanks to sponsors like them, we're still around. So,
Yeah. And this show's going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing a podcast now.
Yep, so we appreciate that. And as always, you can interact with the show by using the hashtag DeathBattleCast. You can send us questions. We'll answer them live at the end of every single show, as well as respond to the community death battles. Every week, we come up with a death battle right here on the show, and we hand it over to you guys to come up with who you think is going to win. Last week, we came up with King Kong versus...
Oh, that's right, the Kong family.
The entire Kong family.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think it was my idea, and I regretted it. Like
Yeah.
right after the show ended.
So did we.
But that's the community death battle for this week. King Kong versus the Kong family. So we've got some people rooting for King Kong. Gerardo, can you bring those up?
All right. Not only has my man Kong forced Big G to eat his vegetables, but he's also fought a robotic clone of himself and killed Gorosaurus. Am I pronouncing that
Yes.
right? Who assisted in taking out King Ghidorah, one of the most powerful Godzilla monsters. I like King Kong.
I can't tell if
Thank
he's
you,
saying,
Ben
like, I
Walker.
like King Kong for the matchup or if he just wanted to be like, and I like it.
I like this monster.
I mean, he knows the little facts. He took out Gorosaurus. It's a very specific. I don't even remember what that's from.
I've never even heard of that before. So
Gorosaurus was the thing in like King of the Monsters or whatever that movie was called, where he just like popped out of the ground and nibbled at Ghidorah's feet. Like, that's really all he did.
Oh, okay.
all right. Zuko Karusu also says, if this King Kong is the 147-foot tall Japanese version that fought Godzilla, he can win. That Kong is not only huge, very strong, and quite smart, but can also generate electrical shocks. He used his lightning grip to go toe-to-toe with Godzilla, one of the strongest kaiju in existence, and beat him. The only Kong who could stand a chance is Donkey Kong himself, because of his outlying strength, Moon Punch, and but his small size would greatly hamper his ability to hit somewhere vital of King Kong's. And Kong could electrify him if he tried.
I don't know. I think the small size thing might actually be a benefit to him.
Electrical powers.
It's going to be so hard. Could you imagine if a gnat had the strength to punch a moon and like you're trying to get
Yeah.
it? Like sometimes it's just flying around. And he says something vital. Man, I don't know. DK's good at climbing. That's
like
what he
Ant-Man.
does. And he's hairy, so he can just climb right up him.
Like vines.
Yeah. Can you imagine if he just like orbit punched one of King Kong's nuts? Like, dude, that down.
I mean, let's check out what the arguments are for Donkey Kong before coming to a conclusion or whatever.
All right, no, I just want to throw that out
Orbital
there.
nut punch.
Yeah.
Anyway, Death Battle Fanatic says, I heard from a reliable source that DK punches with over 3,000 megatons of force. don't think King Kong can handle that. that
geez.
That math looks very dubious to me. I don't know. I don't know if I trust
He's
that.
got the proof.
Yeah, okay. Lord Terminal says, in both the cartoon and DK64, Cranky has made potions, including one that caused shrinking. Goodbye, King Kong's size advantage.
Oh.
I thought that was going to lead to making DK even smaller in comparison, which I guess could also happen.
So they shrink King Kong down. If they shrink him down, that would definitely give Donkey Kong the advantage. And we are doing the
would help
the whole Kong family, apparently.
Yeah, okay. Man, does anybody else like picture the scene? It's like King Kong and he's on the thing, but instead of a helicopter coming by, it's Dixie, you know? And then Crank's holding Cranky,
I was
and
saying-
Cranky hits him with a shrink potion.
Funky Kong in his plane comes by.
Yeah.
I was saying Diddy with his barrel jetpack and his shooting
guns?
peanuts.
Yeah.
Just shooting potions.
That'd be pretty
That'd
great.
be cool.
All right, Shrink Ray sold me. Like, I was probably going to give it to King Kong.
Was it a
because it's
ray? It was a
ridiculous, but-
potion.
Potion. They're all
Potion.
potions.
Do they have to drink them?
Yeah.
So they have to get
That's
it down
easy.
King Kong's throat
He's
first.
always roaring. They'll just
Yeah,
toss
yeah.
it in there. Maybe one of them
If-
will have to sacrifice themselves.
If anything, they'll just throw Tiny Kong down his throat while he's holding onto it.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine.
Exactly. Oh, the shrinking part,
Even
though.
without the shrinking, though, he still can hit a moon.
Yeah, both Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong punched their moon, which is not normal size moon we discovered when doing the Donkey Kong vs. Knuckles.
But it's still significant.
Yeah, they punched it all the way to the ground. And it smashed an island or whatever, and then the island somehow popped it back into space, but whatever.
What?
Yeah, hit the boss.
Thanks, moon.
And then it goes back to its home location,
That's cool.
But yeah,
Kong family. Shrink Ray had, or Shrink Potion had it for
I
me.
think we might have stacked
yeah.
it a little bit by giving
Yep.
it to the entire Kong family rather than just Donkey Kong himself. If it was just Donkey Kong, you think King
punch.
Kong would be able to take him down?
I'm so torn. It's a matter of the size thing and how, like, could King Kong smash Donkey Kong?
So was I reading that right? King Kong is like electric or something? What's
So
that all about?
in King Kong versus Godzilla, it was originally supposed to be Frankenstein in the script, and Frankenstein gets
Oh.
power from electricity.
Okay.
So they swapped it with King Kong, but didn't take that out for some reason. So there's a part in it where he like absorbs electricity. I don't remember him using it in the fight, but if they said they did, then we'll take that.
When I seen that, I thought it was a static thing because he's a fuzzy monkey.
That might be why they kept it. Like, I don't know.
I just thought, I was like, my mind put that.
Just take telephone poles and rub them against
My
his
mind
belly.
put that and that together. I was
Bust
like,
out two
oh, that's why he
balloons.
didn't die. Cool, because he's a fuzzy monkey.
Man, that brought me back to when I was like 5 or 6 years old. My sisters and I used to do that all the time.
No, the static with the balloons and then
Or more like my dad.
or the socks
video.
and you're going around the carpet and just trying to build it up and then you zap somebody.
No, because that sucks. But the balloons,
Okay.
Okay.
the balloons sticking to your face or whatever. That was fun.
No, I
as
didn't
a
like that.
5-year-old.
Sticking the balloons to your face.
Yeah.
You rub it on your
You rub it
head,
and
and then
stick
you
to
can
your
stick it to
face.
the wall or your face.
Oh
or
yeah, I
whatever.
hated how it felt though.
I thought it
I
was
don't know.
tickle.
I've always had a weird like I don't like the feeling of balloons.
We're very.
Like it's weird to say, but the texture
like
of a
the feeling of
balloon,
latex,
like the way a
do you?
balloon feels, especially when it's blown up, I don't like how it feels. And then like touching it with your hand, I don't
Listen,
know.
listen.
That's
It feels
awesome.
weird.
Okay.
Listen, me and Screwtech never claimed to be the toughest people out there.
It's not that
We're
it's
bothered
like
by
bad or
balloons.
anything. It's just like it's weird feeling. I don't like it.
I'm gonna find some celebration. It's gonna be like your birthday or something. You're gonna walk into our office, and then I'm just gonna hit a button, and it's just gonna rain balloons down on you.
And then I'll pop out of nowhere and just knock you out with a balloon.
Knock me out with a balloon.
Dude, yeah,
What's in this balloon?
Have you not? Okay, you remember those the huge
Cyanide,
balloons
okay?
with the rubber band? They were supposed to be like
Yeah,
you could punch
that's
them.
different, though.
Dude, those have some weight to
Like
them, man.
those like my grandfather actually had like a ton of those in his basement for some reason. So
Really?
every time we would go visit,
Was he
we'd get
secretly
those,
a
and my
clown?
brother and I would be like trying to knock each other out with them.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
maybe that's why you
But
don't
that's
like balloons.
different. That's a different like texture.
So,
Because that's more of like a rubbery
It's
feeling.
just, okay, it's the latex balloon.
Yeah, it's like the latex balloon. I don't know why. I just don't like the feeling of them. So I'm not gonna put my hand on them for very long.
The balloons we used were actually like latex surgical gloves. Because my dad, when he left the company that he worked for at the time, basically he was a salesman trying to sell like lab equipment and stuff. Basically, their going away present to him was a lifetime supply of latex gloves.
So,
Wait.
I have to ask you: was it a going away present, or was it a well, I don't want care anymore?
I don't know. It could have been either. I believe it either way. My dad
Didn't your dad
acquires
also
things.
get the Tommy the Toucan suit as
Yeah.
a going away present?
Well, no, not as a
I
going
think
away
your
present.
dad
That
steals
was
shit.
he might sometimes.
I'm starting to think, yeah.
but I know we were talking about
either
our
way-
weaknesses earlier, and you did not bring this up.
Yeah. Well, he didn't think about it until now. Earlier at lunch, we were just talking about like what everyone's weaknesses are. You know, mine's drawing blood and can't do it.
You were talking about
Torian's-
fears.
Torian's in heights.
I'm
and
not
horses.
afraid of balloons. Like,
They make you uncomfortable.
It's the
though.
same thing.
it's just the touching them. I don't. It's just a weird texture.
How was I not afraid?
I'm not gonna. If you
just
throw a
comfort.
balloon at me, I'm not gonna freak out and run the other direction.
You might. What you're saying. Like as soon as it touches you, you're like,
It just feels weird. That's all. Like I don't know.
we used to do the static electricity so bad that it will pop.
You
When
think
touch
you know
our
a
face.
man, and then he's afraid of balloons.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll rub it really, really fast, and then my sister put it on my face. She'd be laughing, and it popped on my face. That's how high the static electricity was.
What?
See,
They might have just been shitty balloons, dude.
Probably. Probably.
my parents always like tried to instill a fear of me like playing with balloons, like they would pop in my face and I'd lose an eye. That was a thing that they always talked about when I was little. So that might have also been like an instigator for me to not touch balloons. I don't know.
This is awesome. It's like goes back to childhood.
Yeah. My arch
Balloons,
nemesis
the most
balloon.
dangerous of toys.
I like how they try to instill fear to you. Hey, be afraid of this. No.
Yo, man,
No, they didn't actually do it in my face. They just said, hey, don't pop a balloon near your face or it could, get in your eye or whatever.
She's just
Yeah.
like staring at
When
you
I'm, like,
menacingly and
3,
just pops
so-
the balloon.
How did you feel when you watched the classic horror movie Up?
Oh, man.
That's really good.
If those balloons had gotten into the house, they would have had to run away.
Would have been over.
They would have been dead.
That's funny.
Wow, Ben, we learned something new about you today.
Yeah.
That's great. We're gonna
very
keep that in
valuable
mind.
Everybody's gonna
information.
take this the completely wrong way and like start talking about me having a fear of balloons
is
now,
definitely
Ben.
afraid of
which
balloons.
is definitely not what I said. But you know what?
That's the way.
That's what we
Whatever.
took away,
That's
though.
what I heard.
That's
Go
what
for it,
matters.
guys.
I'm gonna make so many balloon animals.
I'm gonna come in on the next show and there's just gonna be balloon animals everywhere. Like,
Can't wait. I'm gonna hire a clown.
actually,
good.
we should mention the next episode that's airing next week is going to be like a pre-recorded episode because that's actually during our move to Austin. So we're actually gonna be recording that like right after this.
Yep.
So next week when you watch Death Battle Cast, we'll be wearing the exact same clothes we're wearing right now.
I was gonna have us change shirts to keep the illusion
I
up,
don't
but never
wanna
mind.
do
That's
that.
not
It's
gonna
too much
happen.
work.
Okay,
That's
fine.
why I said it. I wanted to watch that right now. But the next time we do this, when we the first Rooster Teeth or Austin episode that we do, if there's a bunch of balloons,
I'll
just
see what
all
I
over
can
the
do.
place.
Yeah, it'll be great. We're gonna be down there. One of the many new resources we have is that Marcus and his whole department are right there, and Marcus makes dreams come true.
Yep.
Like we asked for tiny little execution tools to kill amiibos. Marcus made them. I asked for liquid nitrogen. Somehow he got it to me. It's been awesome. So balloons, no problem. Especially if I can have some sort of device that lets me hit a button to drop them all upon you. Or you
I thought you were
into
gonna
a
say-
pit of balloons with a fake trap
I thought you were
door.
going to say with the push of a button, they all just explode at once.
That's what I
mean,
want.
that'd be
And then they
cool,
get
too.
into
That
our
would be
eyes
cool.
and we all go blind.
Well,
Our parents are right.
And
we'll
then
have
yells,
glasses.
Mom was right.
No, but yeah, actually, when we're in Austin, it's going to be great because we're going to have so many more, so much more access to resources and stuff like that. So all these crazy ideas that we always have,
who knows?
there's more opportunity to make them happen, which will
Yeah.
be wonderful.
Speaking of new stuff, so like I said, next week you'll find us at our normal time. It'll be a pre-recorded episode. But the week after that, we're actually going to be starting a new time. So Death Battle Cast will be airing Fridays at 4 p.m. as opposed to Wednesdays at 3 p.m. So circle
live
that
show
up,
for
the
first
live show
members.
for first members. Yes, and then it will be up on Saturday for the .com and Sunday for YouTube. So expect that coming very soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to
DK wins, right? No, sorry. What do we? Yeah, DK wins.
Yeah, I guess you're
DK
right.
family
DK
wins.
wins.
We got it.
let's move on to the whole, point of this show, Death Battle.
Ben, you're here.
You're here. You did it.
I was here last time. I was here the last time we did a
I
Death
just
Battle
realized
release.
it. I lost $50.
I was here when we released Natsu versus Ace.
We're just giving you
Were
crap.
you?
I was here when we released Power Rangers versus Voltron.
No, you.
No, it wasn't.
No, you. Who
I won $50.
But this last,
are you betting with?
Myself.
Sweet, you're even.
Fucking handing
yeah,
money to
good
myself.
job.
And every time he loses, he just takes out $50 and sets it on fire. Doesn't seem smart to me, but
Also, maybe a little bit illegal.
All right. Well, this week we just released the latest Death Battle, Sub-Zero versus Glacius from Killer Instinct, written by Nicholas over here.
Hi, Nick.
Don't ever call me that again.
Nicholas.
Your name, your proper given name.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you
okay,
can get
Nicholas.
back at him with Benjamin.
If that,
sure, whatever.
that sounded like
Call
one
me
of your
Benjamin.
rules as the Taken guy.
What?
Like,
What?
don't ever say my
Brian Mills?
don't ever say my full name. And I have a set of skills.
You're just adding that to stuff. What?
I don't know how the connection happened, but sure.
So it's the way he said it. So tell us about Glacius.
Never say my name. Now I'll say my daughter. How Taken starts.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of Taken, was when he said
When
he'd
you were
kill
in it?
people for saying his name and not for kidnapping his
Yeah,
daughter.
that would be so cool. Like if you said his name, he'd shoot you.
That's a serial
so
killer,
cool.
Torian.
That's so cool, Torian.
What is it? It's like a blend with Freakazoid and Candlejack. Like, don't say his name or he'll murder you. Here he comes.
And he has to save his daughter.
It's like Bloody Gary or something, where he says his name 3 times looking in the mirror.
Yeah,
he just
and he
shows
has
up.
to save his daughter. So you get a little bit of everything.
I don't even know what
I don't know what this
world
conversation
you
is.
live in.
So, Nick, tell us
Sub-Zero
about
versus
Sub-Zero
Glacius.
versus Glacius. Was it a difficult matchup to do an episode on?
Not in the traditional sense. Sometimes when an episode's difficult, it's because there's like a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of things to try to figure out, is like feats and all that stuff. With fighting game characters, usually it's not as complicated, which has problems of its own because that means it's harder to answer questions sometimes. Like, for example, how strong is Glacius? The best we could figure is he can punch a 550-pound Fulgor up in the air. But that's just kind of how the game plays.
But it shows you in the cutscene.
Right.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
is that
well-
from the uppercut in the gameplay?
The uppercut is gameplay.
All right,
but
okay.
Anyway, you look to gameplay if you have to gauge like how strong a fighting game character is, but ultimately Sub-Zero just had a lot more feats we could quantify, I guess. So we had a better gauge of how strong and durable and all that stuff he is. But yeah,
The interesting thing about the fight for me was when you guys were going back and forth trying to discover just how cold Sub-Zero
Yeah, that was-
freezing someone super quick
That was
is.
like
That
a
was-
thing you
that was
guys
the
were
weirdest
talking
thing.
about forever.
yeah. I think we mentioned this in the commentary, but I'll mention it here as well. We found this awesome article that talks about like if you were to be just thrown out into the vacuum of space, or like into pretty much like absolute zero, at like 10 seconds, this is what would be happening to your body. 20 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute. To get as cold as Sub-Zero and Glacius get, it's actually mathematically, scientifically impossible. That would it'd be the equivalent of like negative 13.5 million degrees Fahrenheit. Or what, I can't remember the exact number we said in the episode.
It would have to be below absolute zero.
Well below absolute zero,
Yeah.
which is completely impossible.
and he
because
freezes them in
absolute
about
zero is-
like 4 seconds or something, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. But
The idea is that in order to reach from a normal like room temperature, like human temperature, to the point where they freeze over, he would have to hit them with that much cold force essentially in order to get them so quickly into ice form.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, it's just impossible. Comparing it to the thing in space, the reason why that was important was because that is absolute zero, or it was
Close enough to it.
About absolute zero. There's no heat source or anything like that. And it would take a full, like over a minute.
1 to 2 minutes, I think, for like clinical death.
Yeah,
to
it
occur.
would take about a minute for clinical death. It would take about 2 minutes, I believe, is what it said, to have the entire body ice over.
Yeah. And the 4 seconds, that number, sorry, that temperature we gave, that's how cold it would have to be to cause frostbite instantaneously. Not even freezing to the point of shattering, which would take
Right.
even longer. Anyway, they can both do that. It's stupid. It's not possible. But
Sometimes
video games. There
Sometimes
you
I
go.
wish we had like a MythBusters dummy that we could just do shit to like that.
Yeah.
you know?
Jocelyn.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Jocelyn. She's a
can't
mannequin.
freeze
She's been through enough as it is.
Yeah.
But
So all of
Jocelyn
space is
becomes a-
absolute zero.
what's that?
So all of space is absolute zero.
Yeah,
Not
close to
exactly.
it.
Okay.
Not exactly,
So I was
but
gonna
it's
say, like,
close
if I'm
to
in
it.
space, but I'm near the sun, will I still freeze?
Of course not. Well, I mean, yes, you would, but unless you're literally like in the sun's orbit or around, like really close to the sun. But if you just go out in space when you're flying through space, yeah, you're gonna freeze, and your body's not gonna.
Hypothetically, if you were in space and there's no stars or planets or anything
Sure.
around you, then yeah, there'd be nothing
Why
giving
is it
off
so
heat
cold?
because there's nothing giving off heat.
Why is space so cold?
Do you know how heat works?
But what if I'm in between the
Cold is
Earth?
the absence of heat.
What if I'm
Are
in
you
between
saying
the
because
Earth
you're going closer
and
to
the
the
sun,
sun that you're
Why
going
am
to
I
be
not
warmer?
warming up?
What did you just say to me?
Why?
This is why Torrian doesn't do the research part.
Why
of
am
the
I not warming up?
episodes.
No.
I'm closer to the
I know,
heat
you're
source.
gonna, I know you're gonna tell me something about the fucking ozone layer and all that other stuff.
Probably will, Tori.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, right? I got an A in those classes. But it still doesn't explain if I'm closer to the sun than the Earth, why am I not warming up?
Because our heat doesn't come from the sun directly, it comes from it being reflected back and forth in our atmosphere.
Reflect off what?
The atmosphere.
The ozone layer that you just
The ozone
mentioned.
layer.
Okay.
The F and ozone layer.
Listen, we're not meteorologists, but you can be damn sure that we could look this up and give you the exact explanation.
Oh, look, I just looked
You
at it.
didn't type anything.
It says,
You didn't type
you wanna know what it
anything.
says?
You
wanna
didn't
know what
type
it says?
anything.
It says ozone layer. Done.
You didn't type anything.
This is going to be the new theory. It's not actually cold in space. It's just a conspiracy keeping people from... There's also oxygen there.
Also, the Earth is flat.
Earth is
Well,
flat.
right.
It's hotter in space.
Yeah, I mean, if trees are creating oxygen, why doesn't that just keep going out into space? They've been making it for a long time.
I mean,
but
if
you
it's
can
not,
breathe.
If it's not flat, then why don't you fall off?
I love that line of thinking. I wish that were true. Of course, then the atmosphere
So we were
would become a lot
talking
denser than
about Sub-Zero versus Glacius, right?
Not anymore.
We tried.
Sub-Zero, the Chinese ninja warrior.
Chinese Ninja Warrior.
Oh yeah, that was
That's
a,
so
that was a
good.
discovery. So, you know the theme that everybody thinks of as the Mortal Kombat theme.
A song from the first movie. The
Yeah,
techno
yeah.
beat.
Mortal Kombat.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I'm sure plenty of you guys out there knew this. We did not. But in researching Sub-Zero and looking for like music and stuff like that to, for using
show?
the episode or whatever.
Yeah.
So we discovered that theme song comes from an album where like a bunch of characters have theme songs, and Sub-Zero even has one. It's not very good.
It's
Is that
terrible.
the only good song on the album?
The Mortal Kombat theme.
Yeah.
The Mortal
No,
Kombat theme
Sonya's
is good.
theme, I think, is legit awesome.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like it's cheesy, but it's like
It's a pretty good workout theme.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
get your yoga?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, it came with Mortal Kombat 2 or something like that. It's an album by the Immortals.
I think it was after the first game. Because
maybe
we were
It was before
surprised.
the movie. They
Yeah.
took this. They took that song from the album, put it in the movie, and then that's where everybody was kind of introduced to it. But because it wasn't
And it was
originally
awesome.
the theme, there was
Yeah.
a different theme for Mortal Kombat in that album. There was a Mortal Kombat theme, and then there was the one that everybody associates with the theme. I can't remember what it's called.
I can't think of any other music other than that
I'm
one
blanking
song
on it,
I know, right?
associated with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just that
Skrillex
good.
reptile theme.
Oh, yeah, you can think, boom, boom, boom. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the
Fatality, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's like a little jingle, little
Yeah.
little tune,
how
not
much do
like
you
a
think that guy
full-on
got paid
song.
for that?
For what?
That bum, bum, bum.
I don't know.
I don't think these people realize what they have when they make them. Like, he probably just did that. Like, he was like, yeah, this is a cool thing we'll play during certain
See, the
fatalities.
thing about Mortal Kombat is I would disagree because
Really?
looking into it, I didn't realize this, but Mortal Kombat was specifically designed to become what it was, like a pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah?
Because within like the first 5 years of its existence, they made 2 or 3 games, a movie, a TV show, a cartoon show, several comics, a music album. They had all these things that they just threw out there,
Yeah.
like
They
so
also-
fast to try to make it really popular, and it worked.
It did work. I
Yeah.
remember, let's be honest, did everybody else, at one point in your childhood, did you put on the Mortal Kombat theme and just pretended to fight to
Of
it?
course.
Yeah.
No.
See, Ben's in.
No.
Nick?
I wasn't allowed to play Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
This is how I got over my fear of balloons. I would turn
Bum, 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 bum,
on
bum,
and punch balloons.
You just do the Baraka thing and slash them up.
Carnivality.
That's so good. Carnivality.
Yeah.
Man.
They also had a live
good.
tour that was less than successful.
Wait, what?
The Mortal
There's
Kombat
so
live
many
tour?
things going on.
Yeah.
There's a martial arts show.
Yeah.
Where,
They had people dressed up as like Sub-Zero and shit,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
fighting each other?
The best part though is the clip we found that kind of led to our discovery of it was this like news broadcast where they were like interviewing some of the people. And I kid you not, they have Shang Tsung coming up there telling the news reporters that they're doing this to spread positivity and and all kinds of stuff like that.
Your soul
I mean,
Not only is it Mortal Kombat characters, it's Shang Tsung.
The one to do like good stuff for kids because they knew like a bunch of kids and stuff was in it. That's probably what he meant. Not the brutal
guess. Well,
fatalities
sure.
and blood. And
Sure,
guts.
it was really funny because you're watching this interview and the news reporter is clearly like not sure about this because this was back when like Mortal Kombat had just started and there was the whole issue with the ESRB and people not sure about violence in video games, precursor to Jack Thompson, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
So he's asking about violence in video games and how this works or how this is a good thing for kids, and the actor's just kind of stumbling along like it's just positivity. Martial arts teaches you internal self-respect or whatever, and it just went off the rails a little bit. Like he was trying so hard. Props to him.
Yeah,
But
what do you think, little Jimmy? I like the part where the guy dropped down and hit the other guy in the balls. Like,
I like the part where he ripped his spine out.
there you go.
They knocked him off the bridge and he landed on spikes, impaling his eyeballs out.
And then like a smaller kid's like, I like the babies.
Oh, the
babality.
Yeah, the big
I like it when they turn into animals.
It's great.
God.
Mortal
But that's
Kombat's weird.
Yeah. But
I like when talking about the fight itself. I watched the fight and I was like, you guys lied to me.
Huh?
When I thought Sub-Zero.
Did you think Glacius
fake
was...
out.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers. Hope you guys have watched the episode. If you haven't, please stop watching right now. Go watch it. Come back. We're going to talk about the victor.
So on that note, that was one of the biggest hang-ups in researching, at least for me, because it looked like, Sub-Zero basically had pretty much every advantage we looked for.
Sure.
Seemed pretty solidly in his favor, but then you got to take into consideration the fact that Glacius can become that like liquid monster that just dissolves things in a second. So like, okay, does that just trump everything? So we thought about it some more, and you never think of Sub-Zero as a teleporter, but he totally can teleport. And especially in Mortal Kombat X, there was this great example of he's fighting Takeda, one of the Shirai Ryu assassins. And they're fighting, and he just becomes ice. And it's like Takeda chops right through it, and he's just gone. There's no reason for him to just be gone. But then he's just like looking around like an idiot. And then Sub-Zero just appears out of literal nowhere behind him and drop kicks him. So we're like, okay, if he can do that to another ninja assassin, Glacius only has to fall for that once for it to all be over. So we ended up going with that as our
gone.
end.
Yeah.
That's why I love that in
So good.
most characters that teleport in Mortal Kombat, they just have some great options. It's you can teleport and do nothing. You can teleport and grab them. Or one of the options seems to always be like, you can teleport and just fucking drop kick them on your way down. Which just is awesome.
Well, I love how some of the characters teleport, because Sub-Zero in one of the 3D games teleported this way. And if you remember the character Meat, he also did this. They just
Meat?
fall. Yeah. He's just a dude with no skin.
I know.
Yeah.
My
They
favorite
They just
Mortal
fall
Kombat.
Fall
backwards
backwards. Yeah.
and then just pop up the other side.
On the other side.
It makes no sense.
That's good. That's cool.
How many times do you have to fall back for that to work? How many times do you mess that up and just fall backwards and
It's the
smash your
ultimate
skull on the
trust
ground?
fall. Like,
You gotta trust yourself.
But it's not like they fall back and then when they come back up, they're facing backwards.
No,
They're facing forward.
They fall back like this and then they come back up like this. It's the weirdest thing. That's my
Even-
demonstration. This is what a person looks like.
No matter what. side they're
Teleportation
on?
is the weirdest thing.
Man, that's so cool. You know what I like about the old Mortal Kombat games? I love those sprites. Like to
The
this day.
digitized.
which ones? Do you,
The people, the real people.
the actual people posing to make it?
Those are some of the
It
most
is
fun,
so-
those are the funnest
It is
sprites.
so difficult to do a death battle with them though, because so many like other sprites from other like franchises like Street Fighter and stuff don't look good next to them. So the animations can
Yeah.
sometimes, especially back when I was animating and I'm looking at these sprites, putting them against each other, I'm like, they don't look good next to each other. What do we do with this? That's why for Ryu versus Scorpion, the Scorpion sprites are actually like original hand-drawn
right?
sprites similar to the Ryu sprites.
Right.
And fortunately for Mortal Kombat or for Sub-Zero versus Glacius, the Killer Instinct sprites do look pretty good next to the Mortal Kombat ones.
Yeah.
It
Especially-
still limits like what we can do with them because of the way they're built, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look as weird as putting like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
high quality hand drawn sprite next to
Yeah,
this
it's-
weird looking digitized human.
It's also really helpful because the particular Killer Instinct character we used is not a human. He's this weird alien thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's if we had like Jago or Thunder or somebody like that,
looked
It
kinda
might
weird.
look like, okay, that's a picture of a human being. That's a weird 1990s CG rendering of a human being.
What is that? Ivy versus Orchid had that kind of little issue
Yeah.
with the animation.
Yeah, but I mean, what can you do?
And like
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct definitely tried to. They're like, okay, all games are made of sprites. I think Mortal Kombat, and they still do it to this day with like their heavy use of mocap and stuff. But they're looking for a very easy way or a simplistic way to get their sprites without hiring artists. Maybe they just didn't have a budget for it and stuff like that. And Killer Instinct used
I
some
think
of
it was
the,
just going for an aesthetic.
probably, yeah. Killer Instinct used one of the earliest versions of mocap when they were hung from a ceiling. And they was like recording like Jago and stuff like that. And they were using the 3D models and they were digitizing those as sprites, which is really cool. So it's very unique. Two different unique processes for those two games.
Well, it's also
which is
one
why
of the
they
things-
look so good.
Yeah, and it also gave like it's funny that doing that gave Mortal Kombat its own like iconic look and
Oh, yeah.
feel. Like everybody knows the Mortal Kombat 1 combos. You know, the ridiculous high
Just
punching,
punching.
and that's because that's all they had.
Or you just wait for them to jump and then down back punch.
Oh yeah, everyone's insanely exaggerated uppercut pose, right? But it was awesome, and that just really helped shape the feel.
Or the sweep infinite.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell, like, if you put that game, Killer Instinct, and Street Fighter next to each other, you can definitely tell what the two American games were. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah.
yelling, and just this loud obnoxiousness that was happening. Street Fighter's like, yeah, we're this crazy cool karate game, but we got Street Fighters, and you just hear on the other side of the arcade, oh, toasties! You're like, I'm gonna go play that. Combo break. I'm about to go play that. I don't know what to do.
Once again, if it's flashy and loud, Torian's in.
I mean, that was the whole idea behind Killer Instinct. Like, they
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
wanted it to be the loudest
Yep.
thing in the arcade.
Yep.
And, like, Mortal Kombat wanted those realistic sprites because they're just kind of really exponentially, like, the whole idea of gore.
Graphics
And
can't
so-
get any better than real.
And he's sitting at the table like, fair enough. Pull out the camera.
Yeah.
Get dressed.
All right.
yeah,
Well, we
it was-
appreciate you all watching the latest Death Battle. Definitely share it with
Yeah,
your
yeah.
friends. Let us know what you think. And as always, there should be a link just below this video to our matchup request form. You can send your idea for a Death Battle. We got this whole doc that's got all of your ideas all organized together, and we always look at those whenever we're planning new seasons of Death Battle.
Yep. Hey, speaking of things and links that you should go to, I got one for you, and that's Squarespace. So whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that lets you create a beautiful website or online store with an award-winning template. It's easy to use, and there's nothing to install, patch, or update ever. Look at how happy you,
You don't
guys
have
are
to
for
touch
it.
the lower
No,
third of
they're
graphics.
down, man. Torian's already thinking about the website he wants to make. So on top of that, their customer support is award-winning, and they have 24/7 support. So Squarespace is versatile and used by tons of people, ranging from musicians to restaurants. And we want you guys to check it out. So start your free trial today at squarespace.com and enter offer code DEATHBATTLE, one word. Let's see, and then you will get 10% off your first purchase. So Squarespace is one of the earliest supporters of Death Battle, as Ben mentioned earlier. They've been a huge part of why we've been able to keep doing this show. I'm glad to see them back as a sponsor, so thank you to them.
Yeah.
And the best way that you guys can say thank you to them is by going and checking this out. So again, that's squarespace.com. Use the promo code DEATHBATTLE. Start your free trial, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase.
Go make a website.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure people got
Yeah, your
ideas
website.
kicking around, or
Yeah.
even if you just got the domain right now, go ahead
Yeah.
there and do it. And
Did I ever
way
tell
it'll
you
be part-
guys that when I was in third grade, I made my first website?
what?
No.
In
Yeah.
third grade?
How?
Third grade. The internet was kind of a new thing back then.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, I made a website once. And I was like, oh, what, really? Show me. Because that was so mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
And he showed me, it was just like,
You crafted internet.
pretty much, yeah. I was like, what kind of wizardry magic do you need to do? It was just like a picture of him holding me when I was born and nothing much more to that. But then we just both kind of got into it
What
for a
was
little
the
bit.
domain?
there. I don't remember.
Does it still exist?
No, it
But you can
definitely
probably
does
find
not.
an internet Wayback Machine. Then again, no, that was probably later.
This would have to go back to like 97 or 98 or so. And even then, it's in some unremarkable corner of the internet where it's probably never been saved.
Probably not.
I
made
can
a
tell you what it
website.
was, though. I can tell you what the site
Oh.
was. So when I was a little kid, Yoshi, the Mario character Yoshi, was
Yep.
like my favorite thing. So I made basically a Yoshi fan site. I can't remember what all was on it other than I made this really crappy GIF in Microsoft Paint. It was just this horribly crudely drawn Yoshi. And it was supposed to be like the tail was wagging back and forth.
Yeah.
There's just 2 frames of animation back and forth. That's all over and over.
But you did it.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
animating before Torrian was.
Yeah.
Oh. I did make a website though. Like
What was yours?
one of the classes. Well, we had Flash and Dreamweaver class. So I learned how to make a website in Flash, which had had secret buttons. So you roll your mouse over empty parts of the website, and then a button will pop up, and you click it, and it just went to another thing. And then we had a Dreamweaver class, which is pretty much Photoshop for web design, but I think Squarespace is much easier than even that. So it's pretty good.
I could have used Squarespace back then. I was using
yeah.
something called AOL Press, which is
AOL Press.
definitely not around anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa,
You've got website. Sweet.
Kind of.
There you are.
Kind of.
cool.
Anyway.
All right.
Fun
A
little
weird
tidbit.
little coincidence. Funny little coincidence. The first time Squarespace ever sponsored us was on sponsored Death Battle was on the episode Yoshi versus Riptor.
And Killer Instinct.
Killer
came out.
Instinct.
Whoa.
So that works
The
out.
universe
perfect.
aligns. That's great.
All right. Let's go ahead and check out this week's Out of Context comic book panel of the week.
This
Go.
week's panel of
I
the
know
week.
what I said.
No need to rub my nose in it like
Let's
a
see it.
balloon.
Gerardo just made a really weird face.
Marvin,
no.
What's this horrible sticky stuff in my mouth? Yeah! There we go!
Come on, man.
Is that Mary Jane? Who's that?
Who is Marvin?
Marvin's not Spider-Man.
He might
tell you
be.
that
He just performed as Spider-Man.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, this is my favorite comic book. Out of context.
She looks so
panel.
shocked,
Because
too.
the amount of context that this panel actually does come from will never compare to the amount that we can just make up right now.
Also, I would like to point out that the artist had no idea what to do
He had
with
no
the
idea.
right side of that mouth
No.
with whatever is covering it. Because he's like, should I just draw it?
It's around the lips, but not
shit.
on the lips.
Yeah, that looks
Like,
kind of weird.
He didn't like make it droopy. It's more so like kind of like a it's not a drip. It's kind of like a stain. It's like
Oh, Torian!
like she heated up a marshmallow.
Torian's like, that's not what it looks like.
I don't even know what to say, you
It
guys.
was like stuck to her face.
It was presented
It
to
definitely
us.
was.
It's fair
Like,
game.
It was definitely fair game.
Who's in charge of getting these things?
Austin.
Austin? Austin!
Austin's a great man.
It's either marshmallow. She
Yeah,
ate,
he
she ate
is.
a glue stick. She dug her face in a cake. Or
But just the left side of her
just
mouth.
left side of the mouth.
Usually in old comics, when you think it's semen, it's glue. That's what I've learned.
Or it's Spider-Man.
Every time you turn a page and you're just like, whoa,
Or
they're like, oh,
Spider-Man's
this is
web.
industrial glue. Yeah, I guess, or Spider-Man's web.
Okay, cool. I got it. She woke up,
Oh,
right?
no.
Her friend's there.
We're
her
already
friend's
off to a bad
Marvin.
start.
Her friend's Marvin is there, and they was at a party. She doesn't remember what happened. Spider-Man was there though, and she's like, Marvin, what's this on my face? And he's like, you were at that party with Spider-Man yesterday,
Spider-Man.
and you guys disappeared, and then now you're up. It's Spider-Man's web.
Meanwhile, he's putting his clothes back on
Yes,
Tonya!
and then just immediately leaves.
Spider-Man's web.
Tonya, your brain's in
He
a
tried
special
to.
place
He
today.
tried to prevent her from talking.
We need to stop.
As long as you're
We
digging
need to
yourself
stop
a hole,
right now.
let me get you a shovel.
We need.
What do you mean? That's what Spider-Man does all the time. He sprays the web on the enemy's mouth.
It's true.
Right?
He does.
That is
he
the thing he
does
does.
do
Fine,
that.
fine, but
But he missed.
Yeah, just-
And then right as he blasted it, she was like, what? And then,
Why does he do that? Is he just being a jackass, like to the enemy, like to keep their mouth
Usually,
closed?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, keep your
Okay.
mouth shut.
Well, she didn't.
This is my favorite segment.
turn ring.
What? I didn't. What do you want me to do?
Yeah,
I mean, come
It
on.
literally popped up on the screen, and it's a podcast, so we're supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, it popped up on somebody.
You're not doing your job.
Oh my god.
If it comes on the show, oh, God.
I said marshmallow. You could have played it. Yes, I
It's
just got
fair
that.
game.
Guys,
I just got
I
that.
told you we needed to stop.
I'm trying, Ben.
I said marshmallow. You could have played off the marshmallow bet, but you wanted me to go further, and you know eventually it was gonna get to semen or spider web.
Eventually?
Spiderwebs.
We
yes,
started
of course.
there.
Spiderwebs.
Spiderwebs. We didn't start there. We started in marshmallow. The first thing I said was marshmallow.
No, it did not. I don't know what conversation you've been following, but. Woo, okay.
Good job, Austin, and whoever submitted that. By the way,
Man.
some we find on our own, but we also love it when you guys submit them using the hashtag DeathBattleCast. So please feel free, send us out of context comic book panels. They're my favorite.
Okay.
That was a good one.
For some stuff that does have context, or at least as much as we can, we've got some news stories to talk about. Like
What's going on?
the latest update on Mario. Mario and the Rabbids are apparently joining forces for a game called, what the fuck is it called? Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle? I don't know if it's been
What, that
like...
doesn't just roll off your tongue, Ben? It's not easy to
Mario
remember.
plus Rabbids
Give me a little
Kingdom
bit,
Battle.
maybe. But like, I don't know if it's been confirmed because it's kind of a leak.
What gets me is who has thought about Rabbids in the last 5 years
They're
or
actually
so?
pretty popular.
Well, they had that
Still
show.
though?
They had that
Yeah,
show
yeah,
for a while,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I thought that was over.
No, Rabbids
That was
are
the
pretty
last
popular.
I heard of them. They haven't, to my knowledge, been in any games.
like-
Yeah, I think
or
Minions
anything.
kicked the shit out of them. Like, after
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
just
but
on a
like
wider
kids
scale.
still like watch them or play with them or something. Like my cousin has brought it up. She's a tiny person, so
all I want to say is, we don't have a picture of this by any chance, do we?
No.
Sorry, I
Travis
just
is
looked
taking a
over and I'm pretending he's just taking a selfie. Like, what? Like, we don't have a picture, do we, Gerardo? And he's just, I'm like, well, not right now.
I caught you.
Yeah.
Caught you red phoned it.
I mean, when I said, do we have a picture, I meant of what we're talking about, not of you.
man, is that
We
what
love
you do
you.
when we're not paying attention?
Taking selfies at the board.
That was
Classic
so good.
Gerardo.
That was so. He looked shocked, like, oh, they see me.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've been caught.
I've been doing this for weeks.
Yeah, that's right. See your phone after
Anyway,
this.
what were you saying?
The reason I want to say, in the picture, Yoshi and Luigi look hard as hell, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
Super
Like, they got
pissed.
these Mega Man cannons.
Yeah.
Yoshi's like taking a knee to line up his shot.
Dude, and Yoshi's like, he's got this hardcore face, and Luigi's like leaping over.
So it may
Rick's
disappoint
action
you
style?
greatly. It may
Probably.
disappoint you greatly to know that this game is supposed to be an RPG, a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
That is not a good cover for a turn-based RPG.
No, it isn't.
No, I was thinking like some Splatoon, like team-based action.
Yeah, it looked kind of like a Splatoon thing. Also, like the images that were leaked, they look like there's some kind of very vague pitch slideshow kind of thing because there's one that's like about the production timeline. Like in June, we announced it. In July, we have this media plan, and in August, it's launched. Like, so, and also they call Peach badass.
Oh,
She's labeled as the badass princess. And then later on, there's another image that calls her weapon or whatever self-defense kick-ass.
That's cool.
Which,
That's not
That's
wording
no,
that
seems
belongs
no
in
wrong.
either.
never be on board with that.
yeah, so I'm not really sure what this is,
Okay.
basically. And from just those things, it's either something that's just supposed to be behind closed doors,
Just internal.
or it's somebody's playing a prank on us all. Like,
Which is entirely possible.
It's new Mario Party.
new Mario Party.
be dope.
Rabbids are involved now.
And everybody's got guns? That'd be
I thought
awesome.
it looked like they had the little arms.
Arm cannons?
No, you mean from the
arms
game
from
Arms.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Actually, have you ever heard of Mega Man? Because that's what it looked more like to me.
It looked like they had the
It
arms.
looks very
lasers.
Mega Man. Well, Mario's
That's your
does.
arms.
Peaches almost looks like it's an actual like trigger gun. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. It looks really bizarre to me.
Guess we'll find out at E3.
Mario Party with
Yeah.
arms.
So if that shows up in E3, then maybe we'll find out more info. But if it doesn't, then maybe we'll never hear about it ever again, and that will
Who
be
knows?
fine. I
Yep,
hate
probably.
I
fucking
thought no
rabbits.
more Switch games
Yeah.
were coming out ever. So that's
Ever?
Why,
What?
That's why I don't believe that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to
Switch
keep
games?
making Switch games, man.
You mean Wii U?
No, they're not gonna make any Switch games, except the ones you've already heard of.
Yeah, they'd be
Never-
pretty shitty business playing Torrian.
They just launched this brand new console. We don't need any more games.
Yep.
3 are
Groundless
enough.
claims like you can only find on the Death Battle cast.
They'll just rely upon their, plethora of third-party support.
Hey,
Speaking of bad ideas, guess what's getting a sequel? Top Gun.
The movie?
I heard about
Top Gun
that.
2 is apparently happening according to Tom Cruise. 31 years later. Top Gun 2
why not?
is
Is it
coming
just
out.
You can
be
revive
sad?
anything.
I don't know. I
Like,
have
they're
no
just
idea
gonna
what
be
they would
grizzled
do.
and old and like.
Still hasn't gotten over
I
Goose.
gotta-
it's gonna be a
listen.
new young
buffs. Talking to Hines, like Val Kilmer is not doing all that great these days. Like I don't know what they plan to do.
So it's not going to be a reboot. It's a sequel.
It's called. All we know is from Tom Cruise's mouth right now, and everybody knows he's a little crazy. He's a good actor, but he's a little crazy. So it could be possible that something is not entirely true. But he said on I guess a show called Sunrise, I don't know what channel it's from, that Top Gun 2 is happening,
Okay.
and that they're going to be filming in the next year.
Well, he's rich, so he can make it happen.
That's true. He might just be doing It's a Passion Project from Tom Cruise, starring Tom Cruise, directed by Tom Cruise.
With a solo beach volleyball scene just with Tom Cruise playing both sides of the net.
There we go. There we go.
Maybe
That's
they all
my
had
only
kids.
caveat. It better have a volleyball scene. That is so
But what if the volleyball
iconic.
scene is just all these old dudes?
It'll be even
Maybe
better.
they all had kids, and
That'd
now
be
their
hilarious.
kids are like cool fighter pilots, and then they have the beach volleyball scene
There you go.
with kids. Well, young adults, not kids. That'd be weird. No one wants
See,
that.
I would love a Top Gun movie where it's like 6-year-old pilots.
Well, my God, we built these jets. They're the most stealthy thing in the entire world. The only problem is you need a body of a 6-year-old to fly in.
They're powered by babies.
But why? Because.
It's the only way we can make them that small. Toddler gun.
Yeah, that's the only body structure that can handle as many G's that you handle when you fly a jet.
That doesn't sound like real science.
Sounds like opposite
Neither does
science.
this ozone thing, but we just threw
Oh my
that.
God, no, not again. Their mission? Fly and see as they leave the atmosphere.
If it gets
they
warmer.
get warmer.
If it gets warmer. Yes, I wrote that. This would be awesome. I'll be the only person at
my
the red
God.
carpet. Why are we having? Why did we make this movie this far?
Because I know the answer.
Oh, jeez.
It's getting real toasty, Captain.
Keep going.
That's because you're flying toward the sun, you idiot. Go the other way.
Listen, fly towards it, but don't look directly at it.
Listening to you. You told me it was cold in space.
Why is it? Hold on, the sun's doing something. Sir, it appears to be pulling out 2 scoops.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The Raisin Bran sun all along. And then you wake up. That was the whole movie. It's just an ad for Raisin Bran.
It ends with a battle
two
with the Raisin
scoops
Bran
come-
son.
And then all you see is the face just go. And then it ends.
My face.
Yeah, my face. Oh no.
God.
We had a conversation yesterday about Face from Nick Jr. back in the day.
That shit's crazy.
Apparently, I was the only one who remembered this. It blew their minds.
No,
Well,
I
no,
remembered
he
it
knew
as
it.
soon as you
Okay,
brought it
And
up. I
I
remembered it.
vaguely remembered it, but I didn't remember like anything about how its eyes would drift off weird, and sometimes it would just look
Trying to
like
make fun
something
shit for your
crazy.
kids.
Sometimes it would like juggle its eyes and its mouth around the screen aimlessly and then just reassemble itself.
Yeah,
I feel like that
weird.
thing
It's
was
very
like
weird.
it was probably an alien
Face versus Zordon.
that they like. Oh.
The Face Off?
It's a
The ultimate Face Off?
Face versus Zordon versus the thing from the Star Fox.
I love the ultimate face-off.
This is great. We should do that.
That's what our community battle is.
Yeah, just to
Face
see,
your destiny.
just to see how many people know what this face thing is and how much they can dig up.
Face
Great.
versus Zordon.
That's a community death battle this
Yeah,
week.
yeah, Zordon can't use for Power Rangers. It has to be Zordon.
Yeah, well, you can't morph either because it used to be. a
What
Power
can they
Ranger.
do?
That's for them to
Face?
figure out.
They
like
have
this-
to control kids to get the kids to kill the other
Face
one.
is like the time and space entity. Like you can just do anything.
Could
Like,
Face recruit his own?
He can
Power
become a
Rangers?
driver.
Well,
sure
see,
he could.
see, Face broadcasted out to children all across the nation.
Oh, yeah.
Presumably, that's his army.
Yeah. But
He-
so
he-
you know,
so-
it's
so
basically, like
basically-
Power Rangers versus the Children of Earth.
Yeah, it's Power Rangers versus an army of little kids. Like,
Which is why I
What?
think
That he's just
Face
mind
versus Zordon
controlled?
is an even match.
He's just mind control
more
these
even
kids.
match.
When you look in their eyes, they're just different colors of his face.
Now go forth
It's
and
just
kill
his face in their
Zordon.
eyes.
I mean, come on. He can just like at will become a washing machine. Like
No, he survived. They tried to drown him, but they couldn't stop
they
it.
tried to drown
One
him.
time he just cuts in. He's just in a washing machine.
Fucking-
It's full of water,
he's
and he's
in
going
control
around.
of the programming.
He's like, they tried to kill me,
He's
but
in the
they couldn't
communication
stop
system.
me.
Like it's so good.
That's the
this is
sound
evolving
you'll
into
hear.
madness. All right.
He's the Skynet of Nick Jr.
That's fair to say. I think.
Face versus Zordon.
Face versus Zordon.
Face versus
okay.
Zordon.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe,
Somebody
yeah.
come back.
Yeah, we'll figure it out at the end.
But look up face.
We come up with a community death battle at the end of every show using the hashtag Death Battle Cast. We're not at the end yet. Give us some time. But speaking of terrifying things,
Oh boy.
we just talked about this I think last week. The Universal Studios monster movie, like universe, cinematic universe. It's got a name. It's called
Monsterverse.
Dark Universe.
Which is called the Dark Universe.
It's called Dark Universe.
That's a stupid name.
I
is
would
a
never
very
associate
stupid
that
name.
with the monsters.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
I mean, I will
don't
now,
know.
but
Universal, that's a stupid name.
Yeah.
That was
so,
disappointing.
Dark Universe,
Ooh.
starting with the Mummy.
You see, it makes people naturally want a sarcastic ooh at it.
Ooh.
We just both did that out of instinct.
Spoopy. This Dark Universe is so spoopy.
Hey, so what are you working on? Oh, I'm just writing for the Dark Universe.
Oh, Frankenstein's monster. So spoopy.
Universal Monsterverse would have been cool. Like, I would have been
Yeah,
fine
why
with
not
that.
Monsterverse?
Yeah, that'd been cool.
That's
Should've
way
did that.
better.
Yeah.
So is Dracula Unchained, Untold gonna be in it?
No,
Dracula
apparently
Unchained.
that was their first attempt,
Oh, I like that
and
movie.
they've axed that.
Oh, that
So
movie's cool.
I never saw it, so I don't know.
He killed like 1,000 people.
Although I guess Dracula's supposed to be in it at some point.
Oh, if it's not that Dracula, because I like that actor. Oh, if it's not him.
I don't know. I mean, they've got the
Whatever.
Mummy, they've got Jekyll and Hyde, the Invisible Man, Frankenstein's monster,
what are they going to do
and
when
then
they
Tom
team
Cruise.
Yeah.
So
Does Tom
As
Cruise have like
himself.
powers or something? Or
I mean,
is he like
it's-
the Mark Wahlberg of this
I don't
universe?
think we can expect it to be like Avengers, all the monsters team up to save the world or whatever. It's going to be kind of like how it used to be in the past, like Wolfman versus Frankenstein.
Oh,
or
like
whatever.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
I could get behind that.
Kind of, I guess. But like,
That movie's cool.
yeah, I think it's an attempt to return to form to the old monster
Was
genre of all those weird like crossovers.
Wasn't there a cartoon show where, like, not Darkstalkers, but I swear there was like an American cartoon show where the monsters got together.
Transylvania or whatever
I
it was
think so.
called? That movie?
This would be like
No,
a
no,
like
like-
an 80s or 90s cartoon show
I think so.
where like all the monsters got together.
Like an animated 90s show
yeah, I
where
think
those
so.
monsters?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up. I'm
Probably.
gonna look that up later.
Swamp Thing?
Oh, God. You are amazing. God, I hate that theme.
Look up the Swamp Thing animated show introduction, like intro
Theme
animation.
song.
So is the Mummy the
It's-
first
it's
movie, or are they
really
gonna take
bad.
stuff from movies that's already come out?
The Mummy is the first movie in the entire series.
And
So, and that comes out in June, I believe.
Yeah, I
No,
keep-
yes, in June 9th.
oh, did she use I Frankenstein? That guy from that movie?
You mean,
Wait,
what was
which
it Daniel
movie?
Radcliffe?
I think so.
No, he was Igor.
What are you
was
guys
it
doing?
movie I
What are you talking
Frankenstein.
about?
There's a movie called I Frankenstein. It had Daniel Radcliffe as
Oh.
Igor and James McAvoy, I think, as
I don't know actors by
Is that the
name.
one that Max Landis wrote?
Yes.
The one where he's like fighting gargoyles or whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sure.
There-
Shit,
Yes.
they should just make a Gargoyles movie. That would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
I'd
Can that be
I'd
part of the
on
Dark
that. That would be
Universe?
the best part of the
I guess
dark.
Disney owns that. That'd have to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The gargoyles just suddenly show up and team up
cool
with
would
the
that be?
Avengers.
We're here, Vision. Like, whoa. What are these things?
It'd be awesome.
What are they, just rocks?
It's just rocks.
Dude, a gargoyles movie. I know that's been kind of like when we brought Goliath into a death battle. I looked
Yeah.
into that a little bit because I always thought that would be a cool movie.
Yeah.
There was apparently a push for a gargoyles movie for a long time in the Hollywood scene, but it was always in development hell. Can't remember who the director was at first, but I think it's not going to happen anymore. But it was
Probably
there
not.
in the background for a long
Oh
time.
man,
So we almost got it.
that'd have been cool.
Well, I mean,
But,
if they try to resurrect it as a cartoon show again, like they did with DuckTales, I don't know. Everybody's resurrecting everything, it seems like these days.
I think they
Maybe
might have
Gargoyles will
missed
get a
the
chance.
opportunity though, because we're kind of past the whole idea of like dark, edgy heroes, and Marvel's kind of rebooted this idea that superheroes are fun and goofy.
Sure, but maybe there'll be a return to that at some point. I don't know.
I mean,
Either
Zack
way.
Snyder's trying to make it happen.
But
Speaking
Maybe
of
we
which,
can make it happen. No.
Speaking of
Okay,
which,
what's
should
Zack
have this
Snyder doing?
transition.
Zack Snyder's unfortunately
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
ducking out of Justice League. And I know a lot of people would be like, yeah, he's no longer doing Justice League, but it is unfortunately because he's had a death in the family.
Yep.
He's stepping away to be with his family. So not really going to go into any of that and like what the implications of are from that, just in respect to Zack Snyder.
Sure.
But strangely enough, Joss Whedon is taking over the
Fuck
research
yes!
reshoots.
All right, that got me in. In case you can't tell, like I'm a big fan of Joss Whedon, so like
Your exclamatory statement there didn't
yeah.
quite sell me on that.
Isn't most of the movie like done?
At this point, well, it's kind of weird because they started shooting this in April of last year, which means that they're doing reshoots now over a year after filming started. And there was a report a while back from like some like indie website that apparently there had been so many reshoots that they've basically rebuilt the entire film. And I do want to also mention that reshoots are a common thing in Hollywood. They're not typically called reshoots, they're called pickups. And that's basically just going back to the set to film like, oh, we need like an insert shot of so-and-so acting surprised.
Putting her finger on the trigger before she kills him.
Like we didn't get the shot that we kind of need for the scene, let's do that. Or it would look better if we changed the lighting.
This thing. We cut it this way and it would make sense to have this here.
Typically it's not like a rewritten scene. It's a change in how it looks or how the actor did, or like maybe the actor didn't deliver the line correctly. So they're like, oh shit, they pronounced the name the wrong way, so we got to go reshoot it. But those are what pickups are generally considered. This one, they keep using the word reshoots, which is a scarier term
because they changed the script.
Implies everything is changing. So I don't know. Like I know Justice League has gone through a lot of different ups and downs ever since Batman v Superman came out. And of course, the Suicide Squad reshoots are a classic example of how reshoots fuck everything up. I mean, we don't know. It's possible that movie was messed up to begin with, but
it doesn't even feel it. Like the first 20-30% of that movie is fine. They start to do a good job, and I was like, what is everybody talking about? And you hit about that like halfway point, and like it's like it's a night and day different movie, and it makes no sense.
I think it's the opposite way.
Really?
I think the latter half of the film is what Ayers is trying to do, but the earlier half of the film is edited like it's a trailer because it was edited by trailer editors.
I can kind of see that.
It's a mess. But like that's a whole nother story. And that's a film where you can like, I remember sitting in the theater and pointing out that looks like a reshoot. That looks like a reshoot. Like that's a film that you can tell that they did it. So hopefully Justice League doesn't turn out that way. Wonder Woman is getting early reviews in. Those are always kind of like, you got to take those with a grain of salt. But like they are positive so far.
Seen it.
And I've been hoping that Wonder Woman is good. Because, like...
They need it.
Not only do they need it, but, like, female superheroes in general need it. Female director's got a female director. Like, there's a lot riding on this movie. Not that it's, like, the biggest thing in the world or anything like that, but if this movie does well, it could mean a lot of good things for DC, for female heroes, like the Captain Marvel movie that's coming out later.
They're doing
all sorts of stuff
Gotham
like that.
City Sirens, I think?
Yes. So
I don't know.
Hopefully Wonder Woman is good.
I'm so tired of origin stories. Like, I'm not saying the movie's gonna be bad, but I just don't want to sit through another origin story. Like, Jesus.
Do you know Wonder Woman's origin story, though?
There's like 5 different ones.
No, there's not.
She's like a demigod. She pops up out the ground somewhere. Someone makes her out of a clay. Like, there's a bunch of Wonder Woman origin stories.
I mean, I think Wonder Woman is one that people don't know the origin story. Like Spider-Man. Oh, he got bit by a spider. And then, okay, everybody knows that.
Radio.
Captain America. They got drugs pumped into him and became a super soldier.
Like,
now he can see faster.
Does this origin story, like... Does this origin story, like, kind of, like, cancels out or retcons all the other origin stories?
Well, do the whole, like, Amazonian thing for her, right? And then, like, how over time she's lived all this time and... I don't know,
so Chris Pine's going to crash land into Themyscira, the island of women, and then they're going to fight in World War II or whatever it is. World War I.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Yeah.
Man, Wonder Woman's old.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's
real
like
old.
50.
More.
Times maybe a couple hundred.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
But
Man, Woman's old. She's got to be like 50. Yeah? 50.
Let's see. Let's use this magical device you have. When was World War I? Oh, early 1900s?
55? What do you want from me?
Math, Torrian! Gerardo just jumped out of his seat he tried to throw his hands at you. I physically, he was like, I could hit you with something. Like the selfie I took earlier.
You know, I don't know what
He got you all. He got you all.
so now we've established that World War I happened 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's been weird.
Weird how that happened after World War II.
Really. World really
Yeah, our naming system was messed up back then. I don't know what we were
gotta
thinking.
be like
We didn't know how to count.
fucking. Apparently, time is up there where the sun gets warmer. God, I can't. You've thrown out some things today, Torian.
Torian,
That is true.
hey,
That is true. You
Torian,
get
I want you
warmer.
to throw one more thing out today. Your thing of the week.
You get
and then
warmer
we'll get rid of
as
it.
you get closer to the sun.
We'll get on with it.
You got think of the week?
I do have a thing with me.
I'm not even waiting for you.
Jeez. I love transformation sequences. You know where you get the best transformation sequences?
Anime.
Kamen Rider. Let's go.
And on the green, we'll be keeping
He has
it up.
a fanny pack.
Yeah, I was in
his
Transformer. Look, this Pac-Man.
Dude, no, she has a fanny pack Nick face.
Yeah, look. Oh, fanny pack.
That looks like a McDonald's
There's
toy.
Nick.
Oh, you select your character, and this is who you can transform into. So cool. Yeah. No, it's not done. It's
Is
not
he a
over.
Super Nintendo controller?
It's not over. He's gonna jump through. It's really me.
What is this?
Oh, this is the best transformation, right? He has two powers. He's gonna dual transform. He's gonna
still
wear
key.
two powers at the same time. Nope. He's gonna split into
Whoa!
two people. That'd be so cool. The Power Rangers
Is
turn
one
fire and
person now
ice?
two people?
Yeah, it's so cool.
How does that work?
It's Kamen Rider. What do you mean? How does that work? You get the henshin power.
You're gonna ask
transform.
for an explanation for how that works from him. The guy who
I'm
said
just thinking,
World
like,
War I happened-
if you're one person and you have two people that
It's
you're controlling,
magic technology.
like,
what
it's
do
hard
you-
enough doing that in video games. How would you do that as a super? I guess do they split personalities? I
who
don't
gets
know.
the
Whatever.
genitals?
Who do you mean? It's a guy. They're both guys.
So
Does
each
he
one gets
get-
one genital? Is that what happens?
No,
Like,
he just
he
the
gets
power
one nut,
the
he gets
power
the other.
rebuilds the other half of the body he needs.
Sweet. So one has like a fire dick, and the other one has the ice dick.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that's
Kamen Rider's
great.
cool. I love Kamen Rider.
Let's move on to questions.
You see the Pac-Man's going everywhere?
Every episode, you can send us questions using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter, and we're gonna get to them right now. Gerardo, please bring up the first one. Thank you.
Dude Blade X. Why do you guys sometimes use test your might feats for the Mortal Kombat characters? Are they somehow canon? If so, can you elaborate?
First, I appreciate that you spelled characters with
Yes,
a
You
K.
good
gotta
job.
point that out.
Canon has a C though.
Oh, shot down. Bro lifted up and shot down. It's just a combo.
Using okay, especially with characters that are primarily video game characters, using things like the test your might and debating whether or not they're canon. Like the idea of whether or not something is canon is a little weird to like even implement into something like Death Battle because I'm trying to figure out how to like explain this.
It is tricky. This is what I was talking about earlier, where fighting game characters have their own set of things that make it more difficult.
I think
Like it
it's
happens in the
difficult-
game, so it's not
yeah.
like it's not canon that they
But
can
multiple
do that.
characters can do it. Almost to the
That's
same
the trick.
extent.
The
Yeah.
trick is, and we had mentioned using gameplay for Glacius for his uppercut earlier. The trick that the reservation that I have for using gameplay mechanics like that is that every character in Mortal Kombat can do that kind of thing. Every character, if you time the buttons right, can chop through the titanium. Every character in Killer Instinct can punch somebody, dozens of feet into the air. So if we're going to use that as an element to talk about the character, it's got to be supported by other things.
Sure.
And this is true for every feat.
Cutscenes,
Right.
comic books, other
Like-
pieces of media.
Yeah,
We
like
were talking
if-
about it before. If we come across something outside of a canon source, but if it's very reasonable that they could do that by everything else that we've
if
seen
it's
in their
supported
canon
by the
media,
original material.
Or maybe
yeah.
if they're the only person who can do that in the game. Like,
Well, of
if
course,
no
then
one else
that's-
had an uppercut like that in the game.
Sure, that's a completely different story altogether. But for the test your might thing in particular, in order for that to apply to a character like Sub-Zero, he's got to be able to do something else that is an incredible feat of strength, and preferably from something like the comic books or a game action like a fatality, like ripping somebody's spine out or whatever. Those
Exactly.
kinds of feats of strength. And Sub-Zero's got plenty of those, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, in either way, there's plenty of evidence to support Sub-Zero being strong enough to crack through ice, which is all he would have to do to get to Glacius's skeleton on the inside and just rip it right out of his body and kill him.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
Next
yeah,
question.
I mean, but that applies like every episode. So. Yeah. Question number 2.
From Caleb, Bittinger. Where do you get your 3D models? I don't think there's just some random database filled with them.
There is a random database filled with them. That is the simplest answer I can give you to that question. We have
There's a couple
budget.
random databases.
Yeah.
Well, he's when you say random databases, like if I type in Sub-Zero 3D model and it comes up somewhere other than the stores that we use our budget on. those are considered random because who uploaded that? Where did it come from? Or whatever like that. Or what artist made it. That's random. We don't know all these answers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the short answer is yes, there are random databases. Google is your friend. The second answer, official answer, is we have a budget. We either employ artists or we go to websites to get models.
To get them custom made. So
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
Like Reed,
It's a pretty
our
simple
former
answer.
intern,
Yeah,
who made an
that
awesome
Megazord
Megazord
model. We did not download that. Reed put our blood, sweat, and tears into that model.
Yep.
Using Chad's model.
Yeah.
Creativity.
Chad's toy.
Not Chad as a model.
not Chad.
Yeah,
His
didn't
toy
you-
as a model.
See how Megazord-like he is?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got one more question, I think.
So it comes from Kyle Goebel. What are some of the benefits of Death Battle when you guys moved to Austin? Oh,
So what
man.
does this mean for the show?
Yeah. So right out the gate, they have a lot of stuff down there that's better than our stuff. So, like we have our voice recording booth here. They have a much nicer one down there with much nicer microphones and actual sound engineers. So most of the stuff we do here at Screw Attack is voiceover related. So that right there is instantly going to be great. One of the biggest benefits that we're really excited about is, for those of you that don't know, I mean, Torrian does 3D animation in-house. We have been over time building him a render farm. But render farms are really expensive. And so we've been slowly adding to it and just doing whatever we can to kind of help him render faster, because that allows him to do more, which is his favorite thing.
Sort of a similar thing with our mocap as well. We've been building that
Yeah.
for a couple years now, and
Right now,
I rip it all down.
Torian, what runs our mocap? What do we capture? What do we use to capture mocap?
Man, some spandex, a couple random computers you built together.
And what kind of cameras?
PlayStation Eye cameras. If you got a bunch of PlayStation Eye cameras and about 20 to 25 feet of space and 2 computers, you can get about 12 of those bad boys to record you pretty well after about 1 hour of calibration, 24 hours of tracking, a couple hours of saving, 2 hours of actually linking that all together.
And then how many hours for when you got to do it again?
Hey, when I need pickups and stuff like that. However, normal mocap systems don't work out like that. You just record, save, and move on about your day.
Yeah.
That is what they're working with down in Rooster Teeth, so that's going to be pretty
Yeah.
good. Shave
So-
down some days of work, hopefully.
Yeah, so eventually we're going to get Torian. They render differently than we do currently. So right now it's moved down there, continue to operate and use, the immediate benefits like the mocap and the voiceover booth. And then but then over time, the plan is to get Torian integrated into their render farm. So he'll be able to, they do tons of animation. Their render farm is ridiculous. So it's going to be awesome for 3D especially. And then on top of that, there's just a whole bunch of really talented people down there. So they have 3D modelers, they have riggers. All this stuff we freelance out if we need to, or Torian has to do it. And they've got a bunch of other very talented actors and things. So if we need voice actors, it'll be much easier for us to grab some from there. We'll still cast the way we have been, which Ben does the open casting call and Marissa gets them in and we do all that. But there's just tons more resources in every way possible. And yeah. So also the fact that we're, they have a bunch of creative people and we're creative people and we're really excited to see just what comes of us being down there. The different departments collaborate a lot for different things. And so I'm really excited that with all these resources and all these, there are certain things that we do that make sense on our channel, right? But Rooster Teeth is bigger than just our channel. They do all sorts of things. They do documentaries. They do movies now. They do all different kinds of podcasts and animated shows. So I'm really excited to see, just on top of that, what are the things that aren't on paper right now that this will lead to moving forward. So there's tons of benefit, and that's why we chose to do it. So, yeah.
That sums it up pretty well, I think.
Nothing more to say.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys sending in questions. You can always, again, send the questions with hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. Answer them on every show. We'll have 3 more next episode, which we are pre-recording right after this. So I think we already got them.
Yep. But send them in anyway, because we still source that, and you can make it onto the next week's
Yes,
show. Where
absolutely.
Next week's show, where we'll be on the new set.
Where Austin, before every show, gets a big group of them. And it's okay, we're taking these 3 for this show, but we need some more for the next show. So I guess these ones will be good. He's got this whole compilation of them. So we've got plenty to talk about.
Yep. And guess what? We did throw this out last week, and I want to let you know. Tune in next week, because Ben threw it out there that we needed an original Sonic character for Torian here, because Torian the Hedgehog didn't exist, and we got some great ones. So we're going to be going over that
Totally
next week.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
But I did get some.
Torian the Hedgehog, we're going to have... last time I said send them to us using the hashtag DeathBattleCast, and we will show you all of them. we are going to show off every single Torrian
you
OC
get
the
that many?
Hedgehog.
Oh, we got a
Every
good
single one.
handful.
You know, my friends, they tried it. They didn't believe me. Like, they tried to cheat. They put in Tori the Hedgehog, which obviously brings up a few. They didn't put my full name in there, and none of them came up.
Yep. Well, they're going to start coming up now.
Yeah, soon.
I thought some were because this was after that cast, so I thought some was going to come up.
Well, you got to give them time to draw these masterpieces up.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. One last thing we got to do is come up with a community death battle of the week.
It's Face versus Zordon. Come on.
Face from Nick Jr.
Versus Zordon
versus
from Power
Zordon.
Rangers.
When I guarantee you, when they type in Face from Nick Jr., they're going to find a treasure trove of just
You can find a
stuff.
15-minute compilation on YouTube. That's what we skimmed through.
I want to point to something that's on my computer.
Keep it less obscure.
Yep.
Come on, everybody knows
Everybody
Face.
knows-
Not everybody knows
Everybody knows
Face.
Nick Jr. He can turn into a washing machine.
You can't.
I mean,
Come on, man.
You know, you want
guys-
you know, you want
I'm digging right now, trying to think of the stuff we talked about on the show.
you guys are
So
terrible.
Anything? You feel free to suggest something else, Ben.
We really didn't talk about characters specifically. We talked about Power
We
Girl.
talked
I mean, not
about-
Power Girl,
we talked
Miss
about-
Marvel.
We talked about DC. We talked about Top Gun. We
All right,
talked
fine.
about
You want something
the
less
Dark Universe,
You want something less
Face
obscure?
versus Frankenstein.
Mario and Rabbids,
was just about to bring
Rabbids
that up.
versus Minions.
Haven't
We've done that
We
one.
did
We've done
that.
that exact one.
Fuck.
Yes! Face! 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 Face!
Nah.
Face!
God.
Face! Face! Mace! 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 Mace!
Mace Windu?
Mace, that's what I know.
Face Windu.
Face window.
Mace Windu versus Maverick from Top Gun.
It's gonna be so good. Face versus...
I guess we're doing Zordon versus the Face.
Yes!
God damn it. All right.
Yeah!
Face from Nick Jr. You can look it up. You're going to need to because you probably don't know what the hell anyone's talking about. But
Oh, you do when you find it.
look for the feats that he has, you know, where he just pops up and talks to you through a screen and see what Zordon can do.
And Blue's Clues is next.
And Blue Clues is nearly always next.
Yep.
Have fun with this one, guys. You can have fun with it. Like, I don't know how else to do it.
What about who could Blue from Blue's Clues fight?
Scooby Doo.
Dora.
They're both dogs who
They're
solve
dog
mysteries.
detectives.
Blues,
Can we suggest
Blue
that?
versus Scooby Doo. That's our new community death battle.
Scooby Blue.
Blooby Doo.
That sounds weird. Oh man, you made a Bluey Doo.
Bluey do.
You want to do that one instead? I think that's slightly
No.
less obscure, and we'll have actual feats that
It
are
is
quantifiable
less
as
obscure.
opposed to
Me.
two floating faces.
How about this? Well, we have Scooby Doo versus Blue from Blue's Clues, but Zordon and the Face
Bonus.
are
They back them up.
watching.
Watching?
Because that's what they do. They're always
They're
watching.
commentators. Like, I don't know. They're just
Look.
faces that float and talk.
Blue versus Scooby Doo,
They're
official
sentient
one.
faces.
If you want to throw some in for Face versus Zordon, those are bonus,
Just
and
make it
maybe
a
we'll
four-way
talk about
battle.
How about this? Blue and Scooby Doo, and then they're like assisted by Face and Zordon.
it. That's
Like,
weird though, because then you have to choose which one's which. Like, no, let's just give it
Face
as a
is
separate.
obviously Blues.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but
So then Zordon
then
just
why is
goes-
Zordon Scooby Doo?
He
Because that's all that's left.
he thinks he can be...
I need 5 overbearing and over emotional mystery solvers.
Hey,
use
Zordon
Scooby-Doo
loves
the-
those
the
like
Power
he thinks
Ranger power.
Scooby-Doo, you think Scooby-Doo's gonna become Power Ranger? You just
Yes,
said that, didn't you?
clearly.
You just-
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's what it is. And this
Lord.
doesn't make any sense.
Scooby versus Blue.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Scooby versus
Hashtag
Blue.
Death Battle Cast. We'll answer them
Turn into a washing machine.
eventually.
Okay,
Turn
we're
to
gonna
a
end
computer.
it there.
Goodbye.
We can make sure to join us if you're a first member for Sudden Death. It's our first exclusive show that we do
these
whenever
people.
this episode will go live. Thanks for bringing up the names just so that we know. I don't know.
And
I'm
it,
dead.
Gerardo.
We have to shoot
Quit-
another one of these today.
Quit
I'm
taking
already
selfies.
dead.